On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah, man, my viewers and subscribers, what go on. A blessed and wonderful Monday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, my peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Jan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in Jamaica. So watch your snow, my peeps, in the morning, yeah. Tragedy struck again. And this time, it's in a way that I would definitely describe as domestic terrorism. Some call it mass murder, but I call it that because it is exactly what I just stated. Now, crimes like these, my peeps, should definitely be treated differently, and an example needs to be set. The government need to take the unpopular approach and deal with criminal elements like these in a different way. Harsh, different way. Now, before we get into that sad story, my peeps, we're going to get into this. So we're going to kick it off over there in the parish of St. Elizabeth, where in yesterday's vlog, I made a plea to a criminal element who was deemed wanted by the St. Elizabeth police to turn himself over to them. Now, on the Spot News Media get to understand that this criminal element presently on your screen, identified as Shamar Barnes, otherwise known as Tanso, who is wanted for a fatal knockings and clappings in the St. Elizabeth Police Division for the September 20 fatality of Jerome Laws in Litz, St. Elizabeth. Now the criminal element came up with a plan. Saying I go travel, go St. Thomas, jump on a boat and traverse to Haiti for hideout. Some reason I wished that that plan had came to some sort of fruition, because I'm pretty sure that we would not have Shamar Barnes, aka Tanso, to deal with ever again, because I'm pretty sure that he would have been meted with certain resistance in the island of Haiti. But I guess the Almighty Creator had other plans for him, and he was caught in a security dragnet in St. Thomas. Now he's presently in the custody of the police. Just sorry say it wasn't a case where the police them could have just slap him with and get rid of him. And reasons for saying that, sometimes them criminal elements are the real hardened criminal elements like Tanso, where we know for sure without a shadow of a doubt say him is a hardened criminal. You see, sometimes when they put them behind bars, them just stay right there so and increase the murder tally in our country, sadly. And you will see exactly why I stated what I stated later on in the vlog. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about is coming out of the St. Ann Police Division, where a St. Ann man is now before the courts, charged by the police. They pull him strap at a gas station during a dispute. Now, we get to understand, say, him and the pump attendant kick off and the security guard at a Discovery Bay gas station. Now, the man in question is said to be Gary Ferguson, said to be a construction worker of a Great Pan address. And he has been charged with illegal possession of firearm and also assault at common law. Not common assault, but assault at common law. Now, reports are that sometime around 11:50 a.m. on Monday, September 15, Gary Ferguson drove and parked a motor car at a gas station pump where a disagreement developed between him and the pump attendant. It is alleged that during the altercation, Gary Ferguson pulled a firearm from his pocket and pointed it at the attendant and threatened her. It is stated that the pump attendant, in fear of her life, ran to a nearby store and raised an alarm, alerting the store supervisor and security guard on duty. It is stated that Gary Ferguson allegedly confronted the security guard, whom he believed was recording the incident, brandished the firearm again and pointed it at the guard's face before grabbing the guard's phone and uttering threatening words. Now, after the whole ordeal, Gary Ferguson entered his vehicle and drove off. The police, of course, were alerted and Gary Ferguson's vehicle was intercepted. According to the police, a 4.5mm pistol was seized and Ferguson was taken into custody. So it's a 45 caliber pistol. Now, he was formally charged on Friday, October 3rd, following statements collected that implicated him in the incident. Now, a little Tweety bird make on the spot news media know say, he's a licensed firearm holder and I saw him love go on and show off since he get the gun. So, right now, I guess, he get it, I know it gone, and in Ghana jail left it. Boy, may I tell you, was it worth it? Sometimes we have to just make our ego kind of settle down a certain type of way. Now, for the sad news, domestic terrorism at its best in Jamaica. Really, really sad, my peeps. 9 people get caught up in the wee hours of last night in the Commodore district in Linstead, St. Catherine, which is in the St. Catherine North Police Division. Now, that area has been a long-standing, troubled era for years. And for those who have been watching on the Spot News Media over the years, would have seen where I carried several vlogs, not just on Commodore, but on different communities in and around the Linstead area. So it has been a troubled era for years. Whole heap of knockings and clappings. Whole heap of people end up lose them 3 pints. Now, reports reaching on the Spot News Media would suggest that sometime after 8 minutes to 9 thereabout, several persons were standing at a premises. The premises is commonly referred to as Big Yard. Now, they were playing games, board games, domino, all kind of something, and music a play, and you don't know them just a whole of one vibes I enjoy them Sunday evening. Now, it is stated that criminal elements numbering about 6 armed with M16 rifles, AK-47s and 9mm pistols, dressed in police fatigue or police vests, something will look like what the police them wear, and entered the compound. It is said that the men reportedly shouted police before opening gunfire from their high-powered weapons, hitting all 9 individuals. And as I stated, 5 of the 9 were pronounced you know what at the hospital. Now, I could get into the meat of the matter. The deceased, presently on your screen. And sad to say, as you can see on your screen, a 4-year-old girl was among the deceased. So the 4-year-old child has since been identified as Shannon Garden. She would have go to school in the morning, yeah, but sadly that will not be happening. Her desk will be empty, and her classmates and teachers, family members and well-wishers will be mourning her tragic loss. So Shannon Garden was a student of the Rosemount Primary and Infant School. She's also from Orange Park address in Claremont. Now the next person we end up lose for them 3 pints is 42-year-old Mario Sullivan, said to be of a Rosemount district address. A 19-year-old identified as Joshane Edwards, otherwise known as Joshi, said to be from a Rosemount address in Linstead. And a 39-year-old vendor, Aisha Washington, said to be of a Rosemount address in Linstead. And a 22-year-old security guard, otherwise known as famous Amos, said to be from a Commodore District address in Linstead, St. Catherine. So we have pictures of 4 of the 5. Really sad, my peeps. When I look on the picture of the little girl laying lifeless on the bed, it come like something just twist in my chest. To see the lifeless body of this innocent child. Now one may wonder what really going on the Spot News Media and why they were targeted in such a fashion. Now watch this. When you remember this criminal element presently on your screen, identified as Glendon Amos. Now this criminal element ran wanted for quite some time, but he was caught in a security dragnet and he is now presently before the courts in the custody of the police with a rap sheet long so you name it and trust and believe Glendon Amos charge feet. Now just after Glendon Amos or just before his capture, this female presently on your screen said to be the niece of Glendon Amos was going to work, and as she come off her taxi, she was struck down by a truck. Truck run right over her. However, Glendon Amos got word of it and say, anyway that truck man there, he might go get dirt. But luckily for the truck man, he's still among the land of the living. Now the sad thing about this, my peeps, the little 4-year-old girl will lose her 3 pints last night, is said to be the daughter of this female, the now deceased Brittany Hunter. Really sad. So mother gone, now the daughter lose her 3 pints. Shannon Garden, 4-year-old, just lose her 3 pints, just so. Now this was a reprisal, knockings and clappings. Why? Because Glendon Amos, who is presently behind bars, is staying same place behind bars, calling shots in the Linstead and the General, Commodore and adjoining communities, where other persons have been targeted, threatened, and some may have even lost their lives. Now Glendon Amos have a nephew, this criminal element presently on your screen, identified as Jermaine. He was said to be the main reason why the criminal elements them come around there, come target Big Yard, because him carry out a series of knockings and clappings. And the man them know which part him live and go circle around a big yard. Because big yard is said to be the home of the Amos family and his extended family members. So hence the reason why the criminal elements them go circle around there and just spray everything, because big yard is famously known as the Amos, them yard and them extended family. So that is the reason why they were targeted. So now we see why sometimes these criminal elements, the hardened criminal elements, who you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that they are exactly that, needs to be taken out. Putting them to go sit down around a cell block, only endanger the Jamaican population. And not just the regular members of Chan Public, but also their family members who no business in a nothing. Because as you can see, as young as a 4-year-old end up lose our 3 pints. Now, 3 other persons were also seriously injured, to include an 11-year-old boy known as Azari. He's presently hanging on to life by a thread. Another brother known as Rowan, another brother known as Milton, get caught up to and barely a hang on. We just hope that them one day pull through if they are innocent. Now we're going to hear from head of the Era 5 Police, that's Assistant Commissioner of Police Christopher Phillips, and also the head of the St. Catherine North Police Division and Senior Superintendent of Police. The female were in charge of Era 5. Now we're going to hear from all 3, but Christopher Phillips definitely are going to weigh in on the brutal knockings and clappings of 9 and the fatality of 5. Now listen.
Phillips, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of Era 5. Right, we are in the community of Commodore in the Linstead police area. A very unfortunate and I might say a very awful scene where 9 persons were shot, 5 persons have so far confirmed dead, and we are here, trying to put together, the pieces to determine what really triggered such an awful situation. The community of Linstead has been doing
pretty well on paper whilst
since
the
this
murderers
year.
them a plan
Last year's
large them
time,
attacks.
they were seeing something like 20 odd murders compared to just 8 murders up to this point until we have this very unfortunate situation. The indicators so far are suggesting that this might be a continuation of gang conflict, which comes as a surprise to us because really
Why are you so
this area
surprised?
has been quiet for a while. And so now we have all our senior investigators, we have several senior officers who are on scene. We're trying to quickly, ensure that we have a strong response to the situation here. Unfortunately, in the numbers, we have a 4-year-old who, was brutally killed earlier. We are disturbed by what happened. The community is in shock. And so we are going to be providing the kind of leadership and resources that will bring a speedy resolve to this situation. Well, we confirmed that we have 6 males and 3 females who were impacted. And as I indicated, 2 females died and 3 males died from the encounter. It started along the roadway into a yard along Commodore. Sometime about 8:45 thereabout. It was reported that several men came down the road, rushed in the yard, and pretending to be police officers. In fact, it was said that they were dressed. Some of the men were dressed in police looking vests, which is pretty concerning for us as investigators at this time, because it doesn't represent the kind of operations of the police. Well, it's what we would refer to as a big yard kind of setting, several houses within the confined space, really a family setting. Most persons were enjoying their Sunday afternoon. The interesting thing is that it's not a yard that is strange to the police, because we've had reasons before to visit that location on numerous occasions. So we're aware, of some of the long-standing issues and challenges that were impacting that particular family. This police zone, last year this time we had something in the region of 20 odd murders, and just 8 murders up to this point. Linstead space in particular was just seeing 4 murders up to this point. So as I said before, Linstead was doing pretty well, and so this really comes as a shocker to us.
Well, me still can't see why anything come as a shocker to you still, but I guess you just said that for the cameras, But Jamaica, there comes a time when we literally just have to take a stand. And sad to say, my peeps, when a country is coming up against rebels within its own territory, domestic terrorism, and that country decide to take a stand, there will be casualties of war. I would just have to understand that. In fact, we're seeing it played out in some circumstances where police operatives go on their operations. It's sad. We don't want it to happen. We don't wish it for nobody, because that very casualty could be a family member of mine or yours. But the harsh reality of it is that it will happen. I've got many messages, persons sending me videos of prisons in El Salvador and how the El Salvadorian government dealt with their crime situation to bring the country to the level where it is. Do you for once think that all those prisoners within the gates of these El Salvador prisons are all criminal elements? No. Some are definitely innocent. And those prisoners have no rights whatsoever. They were never brought before the courts. The government just take the stand and just lock up everybody with them suspect of being involved in gang-related activities. Some them know for sure, yes, without a shadow of a doubt. But some are only suspects, where if an investigation was done, some would be convicted, some would be freed. But the government decides that the present crime situation was way too much to be even thinking about the rights of its citizens. And it did the unpopular thing and did what it had to do to bring the crime problem under control. And now El Salvador is definitely under control as it relates to crime. And if Jamaica continues on the present trajectory, trust and believe, somebody will have to make the unpopular decision and do something probably not as drastic, but similar in nature to what El Salvador had done. Because if we continue like this, no one will be safe. So me definitely pick my side already, and everybody know which side me depend. Me depend the side of law and order. I am on the side to clean up Jamaica. Our foreparents fought for our freedoms so that us presently living, walking, breathing, yard or abroad could come, grow up and enjoy our beautiful island home, Jamaica. So I will not just idly stand by and allow these wanton criminal elements to destroy the very fabric of a nation that our foreparents fought for. I will not. And I am appealing to the regular members of Chan Public who are still in this infam of a dead era to step out of it and join me and let us fight together, because the good law-abiding citizens far outnumber the criminals any day. So let's take back our country, and by extension, our parishes, an extension, our communities, an extension, our homes, from the brutality that these criminal elements are undoubtedly not afraid to unleash upon us. So anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.